Once upon a time, in a village called Tampa, lived a very fat man called Tamuno. Tamuno was one of the richest men in Tampa town, as he was a major dealer of foodstuffs in the village. But he had a problem. Tamuno eats too much. He couldn't resist food even if he is terribly sick. The food that only Tamuno eats in a day was enough to feed a whole family of 10 for one full week. This has always been the case since he was a little boy. Being the only child and son of his parents, and after looking for a child for almost 20 years, when they finally had Tamuno, they didn't spare any expense in caring for him and feeding him. They gave him just anything he wanted so he could be happy. So with this habit of eating too much, Tamuno began to put on a lot of weight even as a little boy. And as they say, old habits die hard. Years after his parents passed on, Tamuno took over his father's business. He was a very intelligent man as he learned well from his father. So he was a very good businessman. He was well known in the community and beyond. But Tamuno wasn't happy because he was almost 40 years old and couldn't get a woman to love him and marry him. Almost all the women in the community laughed and made jest of him when they see him coming. I wonder which girl will ever marry him, one girl said. How will he even make love with his wife? He will just fall on her and kill her, another girl said. They all busted out into laughter. Any girl that came close to him was just for his money. Pom Pom, one of the beautiful village girls, got close to Tamuno and made him feel so special. Tamuno finally thought that his prayers were finally answered. He took care of her every needs and helped her family. But one day, he got a news that Pom Pom's suitor was currently at her house paying her bride price. He rushed there as soon as he could. And behold, when he got there, it was true. How could you do this to me, Pom Pom? I thought you said you loved me, Tamuno said in tears. Me? Love you? Never, ever. Have you seen you, Tamuno? How do you think that a girl like me will end up with a fat, smelling man like you? Thank you for all you did for me and my family. But I'm sorry, you cannot be my husband. As you can see, I'm already getting married. Tamuno left there depressed and in tears. After that, he met other girls, even from other communities. But once he brought up the marriage issue, they all disappeared. Tamuno's problem only increased as he kept eating and eating. Even because of his depressed state, he kept eating for comfort even when he wasn't hungry. Few weeks later, for some days, Tamuno didn't come out of his room. He just kept asking his staff to send all his food to his room. His staff became worried because despite his weight, they all knew Tamuno was a very cheerful and lively man. So it worried them greatly that their boss hadn't left his room for days and he wasn't his cheerful self anymore. When I went to drop Master's food, that place is smelling so bad. I don't think he has had a bath in days, one of the maids said. They all stood with worried expressions on their faces. After a few more days, they knew it was getting out of hand, so they rushed to get the village doctor. As Tamuno wasn't even eating as much as he used to anymore. The doctor came at once and he examined Tamuno and he shook his head in amazement. Your life is in danger, Tamuno. You really have to take care of your health. If you continue eating the way you are eating, and most importantly, the things you are eating, I'm sorry, but you won't live long enough. Obesity is dangerous. It isn't just a cosmetic concern. It is a medical problem that increases the risks of many other diseases and health problems. This can include heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, liver disease, and certain cancers. You are at a very big risk, Tamuno. The doctor advised Tamuno on what to do and promised to be back or send someone to check up on him. Few days later, while Tamuno was still in bed wallowing in depression, the door to his room opened and the most beautiful woman he had ever seen in his entire life walked in. You know that lying on that bed every day and feeling sorry for yourself won't help you, right? She said. Tamuno sat up with a struggle. Who are you? He asked. My name is Nangi. Dr. Priye sent me. I am a nutritionist in training. I'm from the neighboring village and I am training with Dr. Priye at the moment. Tamuno fell back on his bed. So what do you want? He said. Just leave me alone. I want to stay here and just die. You see what I said? You're feeling sorry for yourself, Nangi said. Tamuno didn't respond. He was just tired and depressed. I'm here to help you, Tamuno, if you would just let me, Nangi said. I don't need your help, Tamuno shouted. Nobody ever does anything for free. Not especially for a fat, smelling man like me. I'm tired of the struggle. Let me just stay here until I go to join my parents. Leave me now, he screamed. Nangi jumped to fear and made to leave. You can just do me a favor by telling the maid to get my food on your way out, he shouted. The next day, Nangi came back and Tamuno chased her away, this time even throwing an object at her. But Nangi didn't give up. She kept coming every day. Even the housekeepers pleaded with her. Ma, our boss is not like this. He's usually a very happy and cheerful man. He treats us really well and with respect. I think the rejects and weight has finally broken him. Please don't give up on him, one of them said. The next day, Nangi came back again. This time, when she entered, Tamuno didn't scream. He just lay there looking at her. Why do you keep coming back? What do you stand to gain from helping me out? Tamuno asked her. Because it's my job. I want you to feel better. Because I know that beneath this body is a wonderful, intelligent, handsome man waiting for so long to be unveiled. Please let me help you, Tamuno, Nangi said. Tamuno stood up and went to have a shower while Nangi put the room in order. Once he was done, she told him that, first, we have to leave this room. You need to feel the sun on your skin again. Let's sit outside for a while, Nangi said, and Tamuno followed her outside. When his staff saw him out of his room, they were so happy. Nangi sat with him and drew out a routine for him going forward. And she also drew out a meal plan. Immediately Tamuno saw the meal plan, he flared up. Are you trying to kill me? I want to stay up there and just die. But you refused. Now you want to starve me to death. Well, I'd rather die by eating all the yummy food than die from starvation, he said and walked away. Nangi sat down in frustration. What was she going to do? How would she make Tamuno understand that he needed to cut down to live longer? The next day, she came back with the doctor and they spoke to Tamuno again about the dangers of obesity to his health, and even told him that he might not live up to the next year if he didn't do better. What will happen to your father's sweat that you have even left to the hands of staffs for these past weeks? Think about it, the doctor said. You're dying slowly, Tamuno. Nangi left him for a few days to think about everything and really make up his mind. After a few days, she came back again, and this time, Tamuno was more receptive. She started with clearing his room and entire house of all the junk food he was prone to eating always, and pasted the meal plan everywhere for the cook to see. She also pasted his daily routine for him to always see. She started helping him to work out, and he was only to eat 3 times in a day. Nothing more than that. No more late night foods and eating in between meals. She also incorporated portion control for all his meals. What is the meaning of this? He shouted at his staff. Is this food for a newborn? Sir, that's the only food Nurse Nangi asked us to make this afternoon, sir, she said in fear. What do you mean? Is there no foodstuff in this house? Even if there's no foodstuff in the house, I sell foodstuffs. So what do you mean? She said you should eat this one, and once she comes, she'll get you fruits and salad, she said. Salad? Am I a goat? Please get me bread or something else, he barked. Sir, there's no bread in the house. Tamuno sighed in frustration. I can see that you people want to kill me, he said. Sir, it's for your own good, sir. Will you get out of my presence? Tamuno shouted, and she fled. He sat in frustration with his stomach rumbling. He ate the food in 2 seconds and drank a lot of water. When Nangi came back, He almost screamed the roof off. Nangi, I accepted everything you're doing, but which one is portion control again? How can you ask them to serve me food made for a baby? This is too much, please. And you know I love beans. There was not even bread to eat it with. Tamuno said in annoyance. Nangi tried to pacify him and explained what she was trying to achieve for the 100th time. For months, Nangi continued to take care and help Tamuno. They became really close in the process. But Nangi, it's been months, but it doesn't look like anything is happening. Tamuno said, I know, it takes time. Weight loss is more difficult than weight gain. The good thing is that you are much more healthier than you were months ago, Nangi said. Few months later, Tamuno began to see visible changes in his body. He was more trimmer than he ever was. He could see beneath his stomach now. As they continued their routine, Tamuno began to lose so much weight he couldn't believe his eyes. He looked so different. His face was now more defined, and he began to realize he was actually a fine man. With this progress, he was motivated to carry on with his routine with Nangi, who was his best friend now. His business was thriving and he was losing weight. What more could he ask for? Few months later, Tamuno couldn't believe his eyes when he looked at the mirror. He thought he was seeing a totally different person. Nangi, is this really me? He asked in surprise. Yes, of course. It's you. I told you that beneath that body sack was a really charming young man. So you see, he hugged Nangi tightly. Thank you so much for not giving up on me, even when I was a total jerk. And I thank God for bringing you into my life. Few days later, Pom Pom was eating with her friends. She came back to her father's house few days ago because she said she couldn't continue with her marriage. Girls, I saw one very hot, handsome man on my way here. I have never seen him before in this community. They all exchanged glances. Madam, that is Tamuno you saw, one of the girls said. Pom Pom opened her mouth in shock. What do you mean? How can that fine man be Tamuno? Do you even know what you are saying? She said. The other girl responded, we know all the men in this community. The only new breath of fresh air everyone is talking about is Tamuno. He has lost all that weight with the help of a nutritionist from the neighboring village. When I found out, I began to regret how badly we treated him in the past. Pom Pom stood looking at them in shock. Pom Pom decided to go see Tamuno. When she got to his shop, Tamuno was shocked to see her. What are you doing here, Pom Pom? I came to beg you, Tamuno. I was such a fool. You were a good and handsome man. I was just a foolish girl. Please take me back. I promise to love you no matter what. Tamuno laughed in disgust. Really? He said. Because I now look like the kind of man you can marry, right? So I am no longer the fat, smelly man. Please leave here before I throw you out, he said in anger. It's the audacity for me. Tamuno chased her out of his store in disgust. Tamuno now felt so confident about himself, and he loved his new look and was doing everything possible to keep at it. He had occasional fear of relapsing, but Nangi assured him that if he is consistent, he won't relapse and that she was always there for him. Few months later, he took a bold step and asked Nangi to marry him, which she accepted. They got married and had the best wedding Tampa Town had ever experienced. Tamuno continued to take care of his health and weight with the help of his beautiful wife Nangi, and they lived happily ever after. Obesity is a big deal, and it isn't just a cosmetic concern, but a health issue. Weight loss is not an easy feat. People struggle to lose weight. It might not be as easy for A as it was for B. So let's be kind with our words. Also, consistency is queen. Keep at it and you will see the results soon and totally love your body. Remember that health is wealth. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know where you're watching from. Like our video and share your thoughts in the comments section. Please subscribe to us if you haven't. See you in our next one. Bye.